Hello everyone, welcome back to another video about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This video we're going to go over the Seattle Kraken expansion draft, the players that Toronto will obviously protect, and some players that Seattle might take. We'll also go through some scenarios in the 8 plus a goalie or the 7 and 3 plus a goalie situation, see what the Leafs would do, plus what happens if the Leafs sign Hyman? Will they trade Riley? Let's get right into it. So before we get into who's Toronto going to protect, what different scenario are they going to go with, who Seattle is going to take, let's just break down some, the expansion rules. So Seattle must choose a minimum of 20 players under contract for the 2021-2022 regular season. The Kraken cannot buy out players chosen in the expansion draft earlier than the summer following its first season, so that'll be interesting. Current NHL teams can protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goalie, or 8 skaters, combination of forwards and defensemen, plus 1 goalie. And now this is all under the following conditions. So all players with no movement clauses at the time of the draft and who decline to waive those clauses must be protected and will be counted toward their team's protection limits. So this is what happened with Marc-Andre Fleury. Last time when Vegas got him, Pittsburgh asked him to waive. He did, because obviously they had Matt Murray and other goalies coming up. All first and second year professionals and all unsigned draft choices will be exempt from the selection. So in like Toronto Maple Leafs anyway, Sandin, etc. will be exempt from it. So that's really good. This will not count towards protection limits. In addition, all NHL teams must meet the following minimum requirements regarding players exposed for the selection of the draft. So 1 defenseman who is under contract in the 2021-22 season. They play at least 40 NHL games prior to the season or have played in at least 70 NHL games in the prior 2 seasons. 2 forwards must be under contract for 2021-2022, played at least 40 NHL games, or again, played at least 70 games the prior 2 seasons. 1 goalie who is under contract in 2021-2022, or a restricted free agent at the end of the current contract immediately prior to 2021-2022. If a team elects to make a restricted free agent goalie available to meet this requirement, that goalie must have received his qualifying offer prior to the submission of the team's protected list. So, received that qualifying offer from their team. Players with potential career-ending injuries who have missed more than the previous 60 consecutive games, or who otherwise have been confirmed to have career-threatening injury, may not be used to satisfy a team's player exposure requirements unless approval received from the NHL. Such players also may be deemed exempt from selection. So there you go. Those are the rules. It's the same kind of thing that happened before. I think Vegas, they took advantage of everyone and this new expansion, the new rules and everything. And they got loads of picks, some great players. Like, how do you get Marchessault and Riley from Florida? How do you get Fleury plus picks? They did some phenomenal work there. I think teams will be a little bit more cautious going into this one with Seattle. So, what's Toronto going to do? Well, first, for Toronto, what I did notice, or when I looked online anyway, I found this to be like the average. A lot of sites had it if Toronto went 7 forwards, 3D, and 1 goalie, or if they went 8 players and 1 goalie. Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Kerfoot, plus Hyman if signed before the draft, Pierre Engvall, Morgan Riley, Brody, Muzzin, Campbell. Okay, Jack Campbell signed. Obviously, Freddie's a UFA. That looks, if it was the 10, so the 7, 3, and 1, and it really hinges on the signing of Zach Hyman. Now, if it's 8 players and 1 goalie, and this is expected that Hyman isn't re-signed because he's expected to get, 5.5, 6, maybe more per year. He's going to get more than Josh Anderson, I expect. 8 players and 1 goalie. You keep the big 4, Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Riley, Brody, Muzzin, Hall, and then Jack Campbell. So, Kerfoot, Engvall out, Hall in, plus obviously Hyman. So that's what I've seen. Now these are, I'm not going to even say it, maybe my predictions. This is what I feel the Leafs potentially could do. So let's get into it. So let's start with the scenario where Zach Hyman does not re-sign. He's too much money and the Leafs just don't want to tie it up to Zach Hyman, right? He deserves the big pay raise. He's probably going to get it from every other team. But the Leafs, obviously, they can't afford it right now, especially with the salary cap not moving up. So if you go 8 plus the goalie, I see the big four: Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander. I see Riley, Brody, Hall, and Muzzin, and Jack Campbell, just like you've been seeing all over the internet. Now, if they did 7 and 3 plus a goalie, I see Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Kerfoot. Online, you saw Engvall. I like Mikheyev. I do. I don't think Mikheyev would get picked, but I really like Mikheyev, and maybe that's the bias in me, but I would keep him. Riley. Now you go Hall or Muzzin and Brody. You saw what happened when Muzzin wasn't there in the playoffs, so I think you go Muzzin and you make Hall available. Campbell and net. Now, let's say Hyman does re-sign and you decide to go with the 7-3-1 system. Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Hyman, Kerfoot, Engvall or Mikheyev, like it showed online or previously when I saw a potential that a lot of websites have. I'm still going to take Mikheyev over Engvall, in my opinion. Riley, Brody. Then you have the Hall-Muzzin issue again. You take Muzzin just based on experience and what he's brought, and Hall as a shorter deal, and he'll be getting a significant raise soon. And then Jack Campbell in net. Now, what if Hyman resigns, and to make room for that, Toronto decides to trade Morgan Riley for some youth, for guys that won't be available in the expansion draft, for some picks. And in my mind, thinking about this, Riley is expected to get bigger money. You can get something back for him, especially with a year left on his deal. And the way Sandin played, he can come in and take his spot on that number one unit, number one power play, etc. He's ready. If that happens, now again, all this is all hypothetical. I think you obviously go Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Hyman, Kerfoot, and then instead of Riley there, because Sandin won't be exposed, you have Brody, Muzzin, Hall, and Campbell. Now again, that's all hypothetical. If Riley was to go, I don't expect them to do that. I expect more that they're going to do the 8. They're going to make Hall available. Matthews, Marner, Tavares. They're going to do the 8. Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander. Then keep their top 4D: Riley, Brody, Hall, Muzzin, Campbell, and then make available Kerfoot, make available Dermott, Engvall, Mikheyev, etc. So, in these situations, who are the Kraken going to pick? So, who will Seattle take? If the Leafs go the 8 forward/defenseman plus 1 goalie, number one person is Alex Kerfoot. Showed in the playoffs, he can step up. When he's playing with the right players, he can be real effective. He's great on the penalty kill. He can play center, he can play wing. He's that all-round player that Seattle would need, especially being a new expansion team, a new team into the NHL. Unlike with the Leafs, where he played mainly bottom 6 minutes, it's been said through podcasts, I read, I think, on The Athletic, that Seattle's looking to move Kerfoot up into that top 6. And then I guess if not Kerfoot, do they take a risk on Dermott? But again, RFA, Mikheyev or Engvall, still unproven. They haven't played those top line minutes, I guess. But if the Leafs go 8-1, Kerfoot's the main man. Now, what if Hyman signs? If Hyman signs, then the 8 plus 1 is not going to work. And what's going to happen is the Leafs have to go with the 7-3 plus 1. And if that happens, Hyman signs, let's say. I'm going to say number one person to go is most likely Hall. Justin Hall, right-hand defenseman. He keeps getting better and better each year, more reliable, more dependable. He's a good guy to have. You can get forwards to plug in, getting a a solid right-hand defenseman. That's what you go for. Number 2, I'm going to say Travis Dermott. Now, obviously, if Hyman re-signs and Toronto doesn't move a defenseman of Brody, Riley, or Muzzin, then obviously it's likely Hall. Now, if Hyman re-signs and a D is moved, let's say they move Riley, then Dermott will be the one they go for. Obviously, Kerfoot won't be available. The Leafs will keep him then. And there you have it. Those are some possibilities. And really, it's looking like if the Leafs go 8+1, it's going to be Kerfoot. If the Leafs choose the 7-3+1, it's most likely going to be Hall, with the outlier being Travis Dermott. Personally, I think the Leafs are going to do the 4 forwards, 4D, and 1 goalie. They're going to go with Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander. They're going to keep Riley, Brody, Hall, and Muzzin, keep Jack Campbell, and Kerfoot. Best of luck with the Seattle Kraken. That's my opinion. That's my prediction. Let me know what you think of the Leafs, the expansion draft. Who do you think Seattle's going to pick, and what do you think that team's going to look like? I don't expect them to have the same impact as Vegas did, but at the same time, no one expected Vegas to be that good. So yeah, there you go. So I just want to say thank you for stopping by, listening to this. If you want to check out more videos, feel free to look through the channel. Subscribe if you'd like this video. Please leave a comment down below, your thoughts. And it's the off season. Not much else to talk about other than what is to become of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Next up, the draft. Oh yeah, the Leafs don't have a first round pick. But we'll still talk about the draft, and we will go over what the Leafs lineups could potentially look like going into the 2021-22 season. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for watching. Everyone take care. Have a good one.